Hello, I welcome you back to this channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe and press the notification button. Across the major cities in Nigeria, there have been protests against government policy of redesign of the Naira. Since the government of Nigeria rolled out the redesign policy, which in my opinion is a very good policy, which aims at frustrating corrupt politicians who must have stacked millions or billions of naira in their homes with the intention of using such to buy votes, because vote buying is common in Nigeria during elections. As good as that policy is, the federal government through the CBN did not have a well-planned way to effect that. Remember, the CBN has said before then that about 80% of the cash in circulation in Nigeria is not through banks. So if the majority of Nigerians who have money do not keep their money in banks or do not transact their cash transaction through banks, the federal government through CBN must have made adequate plans how majority of Nigeria will be able to exchange their old notes to the new one effortlessly. Unfortunately, that is not the case. There have been cases where people will go to banks as early as 4 a.m. in the morning and still not have access to their money. There have been cases where people fight at the ATM machine in order to get some fund. In cases, people are so frustrated that they went naked in the banking hall, all in the in the attempt to get the attention of bank official to give them some money. So it has been frustration upon frustration for the people. Unfortunately, the CBN seem not to have enough plan B to ease the pain of the people when the people could not take it again. That is why they went to the street. And if you remember, the states of Kogi, Kaduna, and one state in the far north of Nigeria, these are the places where the effect of new notes, the scarcity, is biting too much, because in some cities, even in the north, there may not be more than a bank or two, not to talk of cases where there are no banks. So it was a serious problem for them in the far north, not only in the north anyway, across the country. So these three states went to the Supreme Court to force the CBN to extend the deadline for the exchange of new notes for the old ones. Unfortunately for them, the Supreme Court ruled in their favor and said this CBN should not stop people, or commercial banks should not stop people from bringing in their old notes, and the old notes should still be legal tender until the Supreme Court will be able to decide otherwise, the timeline. But quite unfortunately, the president of Nigeria came on and addressed the people and said it will apply to only 200 naira. Yet, there are no means for people to have access to their money, and people are frustrated. And that is why people are in the street. People are in the street to protest that they are hungry, they are tired, they are frustrated. The federal government should find a better way, which means the federal government should extend it, so that they have more time to spend the whole naira notes, or the government should roll out more new notes so that people will have easy access to the money. And by contrast, a state like Kaduna State, the governor has come out and say, in a state, the whole notes are still legal tender as long as they will be accepted in a state that the federal government the federal government pronouncement, the president pronouncement will not matter in a state, because according to him, the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, has spoken, and every Nigerian should not petition the decision of the Supreme Court. The decision of the Supreme Court reigns supreme. So that is what is banking his decision on, that the Supreme Court of Nigeria has said that both old notes and new notes should be allowed as legal tender in Nigeria until there's a decision or another judgment against that. So that is what a governor in the northern part of Nigeria, central north Kaduna State, is saying, that in the state, he will allow his people to continue to spend the old and the new note together as a legal tender, because according to him, the reason why is the governor is to take care of these people, and if the people of the state are suffering, he must do something. Unfortunately for him now, he has the Supreme Court decision on his side. Now, in many other states where the governors have not said that people cannot transact with the whole notes, and they do not have access to the new notes, and that is what has aggravated the pains of the people, the frustration of the people, and the people need to express their anger, their frustration by protesting in the street. Quite unfortunately, the intention of the government, which is to stop people from being induced with money by politicians, I think to me is anti-productive now, because people are getting poorer each day, each minute, because they don't have access to their money, and they need to eat, they need to buy things. Unfortunately, this is going to make it worse for the people, and it is going to make it easier for the politicians. For example, those they gave maybe like 10,000, 5,000 in the last election. Now they have become poorer because they don't have money to spend. So it will be easier for politicians to even give them less than that to get their vote. And I tell you, people are desperate to get money anyhow, enemies. If the federal government does not come up fast and making sure that people get access to their money, it's going to be worse than this. And I can see that major protests are looming. Major protests are looming if the federal government does not step in and do the right thing. And again, there's another school of thought who thinks that maybe the intention of the government is to create crisis in the country so that the general election, which is a few days away from now, will not even hold. So if the election does not hold, as a result of people protest, as a result of people anger and frustration, maybe the government may decide to continue in power, or may decide to be able to impose a stooge, or whoever they want to impose. That is the opinion of another school of thought. And if you remember, the leading, in my opinion, presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has said it not even once, that if the federal government likes it or not, they can hoard money. If the federal government likes it or not, they can hoard gas, petrol, that they will still vote and will still become the winner. So in some camps, they are thinking that this is tailored towards seeing that Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not become the next president, because if there's no election, no president will be declared. However, whatever may be the case, whatever may be the reason, right or wrong, people are protesting, people are angry, people are hungry. What we pray, what we wish the federal government to do is obey the law of the Supreme Court, which allows the whole notes to continue to be legal tender as for now, until there will be a final decision on that. Or the federal government should roll out more new notes for people to have access to. So that is our opinion. What do you feel? What do you think is the right thing for the federal government to do? Or what do you think is the intention of federal government with this scarcity of new notes? Thank you for watching. Please stop by next time. Bye.